Welcome to Business in View. I'm Denise Nichols, and with me today is Michael Husbands, entrepreneur, pastor, friend, not full, but friend. And today I'm so happy that he has joined us to share some insights, to share about his journey, to tell us a little bit about that whole idea of education, how that is the opening for us to get to another level, and to share his many insights, because Michael has a lot inside of him, and we are hoping to tap today. We're going to tap in. But before we get all serious, we want to find out a fun fact about Michael. Tell us something fun about you, something that other people may already know or may not know, so that we can get to learn more of you, Michael the person.
Well, one of the things I would say is kind of fun fact about me is I really, really love cricket. I'm the type of person who will get up very early in the morning to watch the West Indies play, win or lose. But from a young boy, I always loved watching West Indies cricket.
Okay. So you're committed. I love that.
Committed, win or lose.
Because you win or lose, because I'm kind of like, I kind of go in and out. I am happy when we're winning. I'm not a good loser, so I don't watch when we're losing. So when we're winning, I go, yeah, West Indies. Not like you who's committed. But commitment is a really good attribute, especially if you're going to be an entrepreneur and be in business. So we're going to move a little bit into the business aspect, because we want to hear a little of your journey. What brought Michael to this point? And I know the journey has not been easy.
Wow. So where do I begin? Essentially, I spent 15 years working for Cable and Wireless. And then after leaving Cable and Wireless, I said I wanted to try something new. So I actually got into entrepreneurship. I actually started a business. The name of the business was Blue Apple. I got together with a couple other friends, and we started that business. And that business actually did pretty well. It actually grew to the point where we were in Grenada. We were also in St. Lucia, and then we even expanded into the US. Well, one of the challenges that we had was that business was based on a relationship that we had with Cable and Wireless at the time. So then when the merger for Cable and Wireless happened and it became Flow, essentially it killed us. Because essentially 80% of our revenue came from that one revenue stream.
I know what that is like, because there was in our business, because you have to really try to put your eggs in, and not have them in one basket.
Multiple baskets.
Yeah. So that's something that we are learning from now, especially with the COVID season.
With COVID as well, correct.
Yes. So that's really key. Diversification. That's the first point this morning. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify. Have multiple income streams. Now, Michael, share a little bit more, because I know we just talked about how you lost that revenue because you were focusing on one aspect. But what did that do for you? What caused that negativity actually launch you into another avenue and income stream?
Yes, because again, in the Caribbean, we are not a people who are accustomed to failure. But for me, the lessons that we learned from that failure today are essentially invaluable. We didn't sit down and say, oh, woe is me, the business is has folded up. Essentially what we did is said, what next? And the challenge for us around that same time, my daughter was having some learning challenges. So we were actually looking around for a tutor for her. So when we went online and found what we found there, it wasn't what we wanted. And we said essentially, look, we could do better than this. So we actually started, again, my same friend, Sean Eiffel, and my wife and I, we started another business, and that business is called Global Tutoring Hub. And the idea behind that was simply saying, listen, essentially we know anyone can learn. If you give them the right material in the right way, then essentially it's a case where persons learn at different speeds, they assimilate information in different ways. And if we're able to provide that, we can help persons who find the current system challenging. And essentially what we were able to do is take what was a small idea and build it into enterprise, which essentially now is Global Tutoring Hub, where we provide personalized and adaptive learning based on the student's learning style.
Do you know that by the very name, in your mind, you knew that you were going places because it said Global Tutoring Hub. You name it global. And I love that idea. Also, you know, you mentioned something about your difficulty with your daughter and that pushing you towards your next business idea. And I just want to remind the viewers that the challenge sometimes is the opportunity that you're waiting on. You can't see it because it comes dressed differently, but do not throw out an idea that seems, or something that maybe happened to you that seems negative. Use it to pivot, use it as a launching pad. And that's what Michael has done with Global Tutoring Hub. And there's more to come about Global Tutoring Hub. And I really am one of those individuals who's driven by the idea of education. We need to educate our people in order. And you said that everybody has the ability to learn, and we respond to different stimuli. So tell us how Global Tutoring Hub is going to meet that particular need, and especially in a COVID environment now when we have to learn online.
So COVID has been good to us.
Mm-hmm.
For most people, COVID brought many challenges. For us, it brought an opportunity. This was a problem we've been working on essentially for the last 3 years. And we heard a lot of no's. For us to explain to persons the need to move to online, the need to move to the different modalities of learning, it was challenging. But with the advent of COVID, essentially what it did was fast track a lot of what we were trying to get done in the last 3 years. So with the advent of COVID, what we did was, one, we made the platform available free of cost. But two, what we did was we found partners. We found people who would come on board with us, who would work with us, who were having challenges, and who would essentially provide us that in or that next step. So before COVID, we had no one that we knew in the ministry, but now we have partners in the ministry. Mm-hmm. Before COVID, we had no one, well, we knew some persons in the development banks and so on, but what we did was kind of change the business model that we were using, where we were going out there looking for funding from investors, and we went directly to the institutions who offer grants and who offer support. And we said to them, listen, we understand the challenge that education is going through right now, but we also understand the challenge that is to come. Because even as COVID is going on, it's not just to go online, it's to go online and be effective. Yes. And that's one of the biggest challenges that persons currently have with online learning. Mm-hmm. What we're doing with Global Tutoring Hub is we're taking the current course content and we break it down into 4 different modalities. We break it down into visual, we break it down into auditory, we break it down into read-write, and we break it down into kinesthetic. Why is this important? Some people learn by touch and feel. Mm-hmm. How do you do that in an online environment? Some people are highly visual. Some people, you just need to give them the information, they'll read it, and they're good. And then for some people, they need to read it, ingest it, but they need to write it back, or they need to hear it and write it down. And visually seeing it, they assimilate it. So understanding the different way that people learn, we basically taken that into an online environment where existing courses now can be transferred into an online environment and delivered in a way that actually suits the way how the person learns.
Love it, love it. Because there's no panacea as it relates to education. There's no one fit all, no one cure. Like you rightly said, we learn differently at different timelines, but that does not mean you're incapable of learning. So I am so happy that someone right here on this island who I know has come up with something so phenomenal. And we have to give God praise. We have to stop and give honor to whom honor is due, because he gave you that idea. He gave you that ability to be able to help others who now want to learn and be educated and move to another level. So tell us some more about how this would help those who are coming up, because I'm really intrigued by it. I know the program has a set format, business in view, but I just want to change the format just to talk some more about Global Tutoring Hub, because I am so excited at this prospect. You know, we have all these things going on now within the Black community and what's happening with the race talk. But really, I think that what is key right now is that we have to be educated. And if we are relearn and look at things and methodologies and modalities that we would have had before, and see how we can tweak them or how we can look at them differently to push us into the place of excellence, which we are supposed to be, because we need to be excellent in what we do. Share a little bit more about Global Tutoring Hub, how it actually works and how we can benefit.
So actually, I'm going to go back a little bit and then I'm going to come forward. Okay. When I started with this idea, it was core and central to me. And I would have shared this before with a couple other persons, but I want to share it now publicly. My grandfather and grandmother worked all their life on the plantation. My wife's mom and my mom both are maids. And for them, the opportunity to be educated wasn't available. I came and I was the first one of my mother's children to get an education all the way to university. We should be setting a platform for that next generation to come. The key aspect of who we are as people of the Caribbean is, and you can see it now with tourism, our key asset is our people. And the best way to unlock that potential that our people have is through education. We can't continue with a system that says 1/3 of the children, by the time they reach age 11, are not good enough. We can't continue with a system that says by the time you're 16 years old, if you don't have this number of CXCs, that you're not good enough to go forward. We have to find ways to systematically address what are the challenges our students are having as early as possible. Fix those problems. And for me, it's ethos that essentially, you know, a rising tide lifts all boats. So the goal is not, you know, to stop those who are doing well from doing well. If you can do well, do better. Yes. But for those who are having a challenge, we want to be able to say to them, we can help you to identify that challenge. We can put a program in place to address that challenge. And then working along with you through the system, we can help you develop and grow to reach whatever your goal is. So that for me is the key to education. It is moving beyond what we can't do and moving to a place of saying, what can we do to make it better?
Wow, Michael, I am here. I would jump out my seat now, but that would not be prudent. That would not be in place. But I am so happy to hear you speak the way you're speaking, because education to me and to us as individuals is that platform, is that springboard. And we cannot say, you said, those of you who are good, get better. Those of you who are not so good, get good. And so there is room for everyone. And because we are going to respond at different times, that does not mean that you're inferior. Because you're a touchy-feely learner, because you respond differently, I don't want to sit in the classroom and be a professor, but I can get out there and use my hands and be skilled at what I do. But yet I still have to have that foundation of a proper education. Then let's go for it. So Global Tutoring Hub has seen the need, and it came out of your own personal need. And I heard you say about what you went through and what you're the first person within your family to get to this stage. But that was just at that point. But I am seeing so much in your horizon, so much that's going to happen, so many good things that will follow. But God is using this so that you can help others. And so viewers, this morning, we want to remind you that whatsoever challenge you may have, there is still a God who loves you. So those of you who are in entrepreneurship or thinking of being an entrepreneur or thinking that it's been difficult because of COVID, look at the challenges that Michael would have faced. And he used them as a springboard to not only help himself because it came with a personal need, but now he's moving it as wide and as far as he can to Global Tutoring Hub. Michael, tell us about some of the pitfalls you would have had throughout this journey.
Well, the biggest challenge for most Caribbean entrepreneurs is funds. But what I learned throughout this journey is that the absence of money sometimes is not the biggest challenge, because that can be overcome through partnerships, through and being open and honest with people. When we started, the first persons who put money into our business were actually members of my church. And then as the business continued to develop and it continued to grow, we started to form alliances with persons where persons recognized that they may not have the funds, but if we needed a service, what did we have that could help them, and what did they have that could help us? So we started to form those partnerships and those relationships. And I must put in my plug as well for you, Denise, because there were instances where people said to us, we love your idea and we want you to come to Hungary. And we were like, Hunger who? Hunger where? We had no idea how we were going to get it done, but God willing, we got it done. This little small company from the island of Barbados, in January, we were presenting to global companies like GE Healthcare and so on in Hungary, showing them the capacity that we have, and then how they could take what we're doing and apply it even in a larger sphere where they're dealing with things like medical products and how they're to be used properly and so on, and recognizing that the challenge of learning is not a Michael husband's problem. It is not a Barbados problem. It is not a Caribbean problem. It is a global problem. And we in the Caribbean have to understand that we have something of value, that we have something that we can share with the world. Because if I'm fixing the problem for me, find all the other people who have the same problem and let them know. Don't be afraid. People say, oh, they're going to steal your idea and nobody can do it as good as you do it. And you have to be confident in that. And in doing that, you begin to get other persons who come alongside you, who partner with you, who are saying to you, even if I'm not joining you today, keep me informed because I want to see it grow. I want to see it develop. And once you have that core behind you, you know, it pushes you, it moves your business forward. And again, the challenge has not always been the money, but it is find a way to make it happen.
You know, any person, what I'm hearing from you coming out, without you actually using the words, any person who want to get into entrepreneurship or want to be of any value to society, you have to be relentless, you have to be tenacious, and you have to be committed. Because you cannot go forward because there will be challenges. And you have to be like Les Brown and not see these as challenges, but as stepping stones that usher you into that particular thing that you were placed on this earth for. All of us have greatness on the inside of us, but we need destiny facilitators, people who pull that out of us. And when they pull it out of us, they realize, wait, that was inside of me all the time. And through education, that is the key. That's the key that unlocks the door to your full destiny, because you don't realize that you are capable of this or that until somebody educate you and tell you, well, if you do this and then therefore you realize I can learn. Somebody has taught me and I can learn. So Global Tutoring Hub, this is a place where you have come to, where you realize, yes, I can help others and I can be of benefit. I may have been challenged by the funding, I may have been challenged in all ways, but I still know that I can make it. And so Michael, I know I don't like, and I'm so excited I could really go on some more and more, but I want to hear your closing thoughts, any ideas that you can give to those people who are up and coming in business, entrepreneurship, or even as a community. There may be something, because in your pastoral role, there could be something that you want to share that will help someone who's watching Business in View.
So I would say to persons who are watching, one, Be clear about what is the problem that you want to solve. Number two, find persons who are just as passionate as you to join your team. One of the key things about me and forming the team is I always work with persons that have the same level of passion as me, or maybe even more passionate. I don't know how that could be, but it's a case where sometimes when things get tough, that passion will push you through. Additionally, don't be afraid to think beyond Barbados. Be bold enough to say, if I can fix it here and it's good enough here, it should be good enough for the Caribbean, it should be good enough for the region, and it should be good enough for the world. And set a standard that says, I am world class. I am world class. And live to that standard.
Whoa. Be clear as to what your particular problem solving that you're going to be doing. And surround yourself, people are of like mind who are passionate. And know that you can do it. And if you can fix it here, you can fix it there. So be resolved in your mind that a little man from the Caribbean can fix global problems, because we are not that dissimilar. We're pretty much the same throughout the earth. We still bleed red. Don't matter what color you are, you still bleed red. So you can fix the problem, because the problem here is identical to the problem there. And if you can solve it here, you can solve it there. Oh, Michael, I am so happy that you joined us this morning. I just want to say kudos to you and to the team for how you are pushing forward. Despite whatever is happening, you have not despised small beginnings. And you said, I can do it. It doesn't matter. I can do it. I can make it. And so today, any person who's thinking about getting in business, be clear about what your idea is, what you probably want to solve. Be passionate about it and surround yourself with people who have the same passion, who are like-minded. So that's part of the community. So today, be clear, be committed, be concise too. Sometimes we go on. That's why we're going to end the show shortly. And also surround yourself with people who can understand where you want to go, and be certain that God will help you once you operate with a spirit of excellence. So
Amen.
Michael, I'm still going to give you another opportunity to say one last thing, and then we're going to close out the show.
So if you want to join with us, I'm always looking for persons who are interested. You can visit us at www.globaltutoringhub.com. And again, if God is with you, who can be against you?
Can I get an amen? Thank you so much, Michael. For the viewers, thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of Business in View. Share the video, let others know. And I know you'll love this one. You'll share it with others, because we have gotten an education. God bless you. Shalom. One second.